Wow, Qatar just gave America a $400 million airliner for President Trump's use. Is this constitutional? Let's find out. The US is about to be the recipient of a $400 million luxury Boeing 747 airliner from the country of Qatar. The gift is meant to be for President Trump's use, the idea being that it's going to replace the current Air Force One for the remainder of his presidency. $400 million sounds like a lot of money for an airliner, and by luxury they mean that some high-end Paris company designed the entire interior, and they use things like expensive wood finishes, silk fabrics, they designed entertainment rooms and meeting areas, and roughly this plane can hold around 90 people. And while it is an incredible gesture from one country to the other, the question remains, is this constitutional? And the short answer is yeah, but there are some caveats. Let's see. Does it say anything in here about accepting gifts from foreign countries? Yeah, here we go. The Emoluments Clause. The Emoluments Clause is found in Article 1, Section 9 of the Constitution, and it states, "No title of nobility shall be granted by the United States, and no persons holding any office of profit or trust under them shall, without the consent of Congress, accept any present, emolument, office, or title of any kind whatsoever from any king, prince, or foreign state." But that does kind of seem to be what's happening here. But the Emoluments Clause is saying that no U.S. official can receive any gift, payment, or title from a foreign government unless Congress explicitly approves it. And for good reason. It was designed to prevent foreign influence or corruption through bribes and favors, which is completely understandable. The founders knew that there would be opportunities for a foreign entity to buy favor in the U.S. or even affect U.S. policy. And we should know, the US does it all the time. On the outside looking in, it looks like Qatar is giving President Trump an airplane. So by Trump accepting this gift, does it go against the Emolument Clause? Well, no, because it's being given to the Department of Defense from one government to the other. And while it does feel like a little bit of a loophole because it's being specifically given for the use of President Trump until it's challenged legally, that appears to be how this deal is going down. And there is a little bit of a gray area because President Trump really does want the airplane, and quite frankly, I don't think I blame him. President Trump said, "The Boeing 747 is being given to the United States Air Force / Department of Defense, not to me. It is a gift from a nation, Qatar, that we have successfully defended for many years. It will be used by our government as a temporary Air Force One until such time as our new Boeings, which are very late on delivery, arrive." So it's obvious that he wants it because, for starters, it's better than our current Air Force One. The current Air Force One is from the 90s. The 90s. It's set to be retired at some point in favor of two new Boeing 747s. But as stated before, Boeing is essentially back-ordered at this point, which has delayed the new 747s for Air Force One. So Trump has a foreign entity that wants to give him an upgraded airplane to fly as the president, and of course he wants it. Who wouldn't? If it were a direct gift from Qatar to Trump, it would fall under the Emolument Clause, and Congress would specifically have to approve it. And to be fair, there are gifts that have been given directly to presidents from other countries, and at the end of their presidency, the outgoing president has the ability to either purchase the gift at market value, or he has to turn it over to the National Archives, which I think is the plan for this plane as well. Maybe not the National Archives, but I think it's going to go into his library or something like that. But since the plane is being given to the Department of Defense to be used exclusively for President Trump, it does have a little bit of a gray area, to be honest. But hey, it's the real world where there's a lot of gray. And while being constitutional is a big issue, there are other areas of concern as well, such as safety. Should we assume that gifts from other countries to be used exclusively for the president are going to be safe? We have to assume that there is some sort of tracking device or audio recording device that has been buried in the depths of the plane. So obviously, the Department of Defense is going to have to do a really good job to make sure that this plane is secure. There are other things that have to happen, like security measures that come standard for Air Force One, such as secure communications, a missile defense system, and, nuclear blast shield. President Trump indicated that this plane would be retired at the end of his administration and be replaced by the new 747s that were supposed to be replacing the current Air Force One. And this new plane would go, like I said before, into his presidential library, I believe. Obviously, this is still a developing story, so I don't really know. But something interesting about this particular plane is that it's been for sale since 2020. And obviously, there has been no buyers. The US would actually be doing Qatar a big service by taking it off their hands, because then Qatar is no longer responsible for the cost of maintaining a luxury airliner. I guess one country's problem is another country's solution. We like to keep it constitutional over here, so let me know what you think. Is this too much of a gray area? Are we crossing some sort of line by accepting this luxury airliner from a foreign country for the use of our president? Let me know what you think, and as always, please like and subscribe. Thank you.